Last week, I started my quest to vanquish all the vacuum leaks of this 20-year-old vehicle. This is a much bigger challenge than I initially thought. Though the hoses that we replaced last week are the most brittle ones in the car, those aren't the only vacuum leaks I found on the vehicle. This week, we've got a whole list of parts to replace. Starting with replacing the entire Pcv system, looking for any vacuum leaks in the process. Along with that, we're going to be replacing the dipstick tube, the dipstick, and a few of the boost lines connecting to the N249 system. First and foremost though, what is a Pcv system, and why did I want to replace it? The reason I want to replace it is because I have a really bouncy idle. Generally, this is due to a vacuum leak, and on the 1.8Ts, the Pcv system is notorious for leaking due to the materials they use. I can also see a massive crack as I look through the cylinders of the intake manifold. So what does this system do, and why is it actually needed? Pcv stands for positive crankcase ventilation. The crankcase is the part of the engine on the bottom that holds all the motor oil. When fuel is burnt in your engine, the byproduct is exhaust gas. Some of this gas, however, pushes past the pistons and into the crankcase. Here it combines with motor oil and produces something that looks like an oil sludge. This sludge is considered blow-by and goes through the various systems and can cause damage due to corrosion or clogging the different tubes. The Pcv system is generally a one-way valve attached to the crankcase. Its sole purpose is to filter out waste gases and make sure that they don't enter the crankcase. This stops sludge buildup and reduces oil blow-by. The system takes place after the airflow sensors, which determine the correct amount of fuel to send into the engine. Consequently, if you have an air leak here, it's sucking in unmoderated air. In my case, it threw an engine code, P0171, which basically just means that my engine was running lean. I ordered the entire Pcv system in one go from ECS Tuning. It's an old part and in a very warm part of the engine bay, so it's probably got a lot of cracks. I also ordered myself a replacement dipstick and dipstick tube since these like to break. My 3, 4, and 8mm hose also came in. The first step to replacing the Pcv system is to remove the charge pipe that connects the output of the turbo to the first intercooler. This is a TT225, and this charge pipe will only be there if you have the 225 model. The 180s are a single intercooler, so they don't have this. You can unbolt the hose clamps connecting the N75 valve and the diverter valve, as well as the rest of the intercooler piping. Once this is done, this will all just slide right out. I set the new Pcv system on top of the engine bay so you can see both sides of where we're going to be connecting it. Just like in the last episode, we're going to take these brackets off the front of the engine. From here, it's pretty easy to unbolt the left side of the Pcv system. You got to do a little bit of maneuvering to get it off the intake manifold itself, but it's pretty straightforward. I cut this hose because there was a pretty large crack connecting it to the Pcv system. These two single-use hose clamps are the bane of my existence, but both need to come off to get the Pcv system off. If you're following along, I suggest you mostly worry about the one on the left. This side slides off much easier than the right side. This is what this part looks like once it's slid off. After this, you can slide the whole piece out as a unit. Almost everywhere I looked online said that you needed to remove the intake manifold to get the Pcv system out, but I found you can actually just unbolt both sides and rotate it around the intake manifold so that it slides out the top. Now that the piece is outside of the car, you can see just how bad the crack in it actually was. Imagine how much air this was sucking in at idle. I took the rubber hose from under the intake manifold off of the old piece and slid it onto the new piece. You may have to move a few vacuum lines out of the way, but this piece slides in a lot easier than it was to take out. I'm using removable hose clamps, so I put these on all the connections that we took off. There are 2 on both sides of the Pcv system. This is what the reusable hose clamps look like on the bottom of the system. Now it's time to replace the dipstick. Normally you can literally just pull this off since it's held on by friction alone, but mine came off with the dipstick, which is a bad sign. You can see part of this is broken off. This was causing a pretty big oil leak in the engine. Thankfully, I found the broken off part on the floor, so I didn't have to worry about it going into the oil sump. After cleaning it up a little bit, I popped the new piece on with friction, and it holds so much better. After you've done this mod, you can finally tell all your friends that you've installed a short throw dipstick. Next, I want to replace 2 of the lines connecting to the N249 system. These ones aren't nearly as bad as the ones we replaced last week, but these hoses still had a few cracks in them. Now, a job like this may look overwhelming, but if you go step by step and make sure you map out in your mind which vacuum lines go where, it's actually pretty straightforward. Replacing these hoses is simple. I measured the right amount of 4mm hose, cut it, and slid it onto both ends of the connection. I did this for both of the hoses connecting to the N249. The leftmost connects directly to the intake manifold, and the one on the right connects to the sensor, which connects to the bracket that bolts to the intake manifold. Next, you can connect the vacuum lines to this sensor right here, along with the electrical connection itself. Next, you can re-bolt on both of the brackets. The final step of buttoning this up is to reinstall the charge pipe. So what am I really expecting by doing all this work? First and foremost, I hope this fixes the lean error with my engine. When I'm sitting in traffic, the RPMs will dip down to like 500 and it feels like the engine's about to die. I also have that intermittent lean code, although that seems to have gone away after we fixed the major vacuum leaks last week. I know this won't make my car perfect, but I can promise you that it'll make the car a lot more reliable. And since we're fixing boost leaks, it'll likely feel a bit faster too. I removed so many vacuum lines that I've gone through and triple checked every single one. I replaced all the single-use hose clamps with reusable one and made sure to zip tie everywhere that I couldn't fit one of those. Replacing all of these lines is going to be a continued project for this car, and I don't think I'll ever complete it in one video. But boy is it worthwhile and fulfilling to see my engine slowly come together. After everything's been triple checked, we're ready to do the most nerve-wracking part. Starting the car up and going for a test drive to see if what you've done has made it worse or better. Not only is my idle slightly higher, but it no longer dips down to 500 and tries to die. Once the engine got up to temperature, I took the car on a short drive and immediately noticed the boost was building faster. I highly recommend this fix if your car is experiencing similar issues. I'm starting to feel like I can trust this car more and more, and in the process of building this car, I'm learning a lot about how this vehicle works. I'm sure things will break in this car, and honestly, I think that's part of the charm. I'd rather take a quirky car that has a few issues than something that's perfect all the time, but rather boring. If you enjoyed the video or learned something, consider dropping a like or subscribing for more. I plan on building project cars for the rest of my life and documenting it here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.